We start with Tom Dupree, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General under George W. Bush. Are we right to make such a big deal about this issue of credibility for Cassidy Hutchison?
Leland, I think the credibility of a witness, particularly a star witness like Ms. Hutchison, is always an important issue. And from my perspective, I'm just perplexed as how the committee would have allowed this to happen. It would not have been difficult for the committee to call the Secret Service agents in question to ask them, is it true that this happened? Is it true that this didn't happen? To get to the bottom of it. But by having her go up and testify, and then to have her testimony immediately contradicted by the agents who were there with the president, just seems like an amateurish, unforced error.
Yeah, even if you take the politics out of it, just from in the way that they have been so scripted and so tight, to have this happen seems, to your point, such an unforced error. If we take the politics out of this, what do you make of the decision for so much of this to be done in secret? There's so many of the depositions we don't know the other 4 hours and 30 minutes. We just get 30 seconds of. We don't know what the Secret Service agents who have already talked to the committee said. They are holding all of these cards back. Have the cards now all fallen?
Well, it's different. I mean, what I make of it is that this is so different from the way that Washington hearings, congressional hearings, historically have been performed. Normally, you have these open inquiries of witnesses where you may not know exactly what they're going to testify, and there's an element of mystery and excitement. It's the truth-seeking function to find out what these people have to say. This hearing is very different. As you point out, it's been scripted. It's been very well done from a kind of presentation standpoint. It is incredible, but they know in advance, the committee members know in advance the testimony they are going to get. So they are really putting this on for a much larger audience to tell a story and to inform people and to notify people of what they found, but not in a way that presents the entire picture. It's carefully calculated to put forward certain evidence they want, which again is a persuasive technique. Don't get me wrong.
And really, Republicans are the ones who allowed this technique to happen. A year later, some Republicans second-guessed boycotting the January 6th panel. The decision by Representative Kevin McCarthy not to appoint Republicans to the committee has given Democrats the chance to set out an uninterrupted narrative.
Yes, and I do think that was a mistake. I mean, look, this is an important committee. It's doing important work. We need to know what happened on January 6th. And for McCarthy to just basically say, look, I'm going to take my ball and go home and not have any Republicans on the committee who could be asking contrary questions, pursuing different lines of inquiry, asking witnesses hard questions, it would make it much more difficult to script these hearings. But arguably, you'd have a much better performance of the truth-seeking function of these hearings.
Right, and perhaps to that point, they would have reached out to the Secret Service before this and said, hey, at least off the record, what do you guys think about this? Real quick, Pat Cipollone, to my mind, the most interesting thing yesterday was being told by Cipollone to Hutchison, we're going to get charged with every crime imaginable if we make that movement happen. Not to play the odds game, but what is the balance and what is the question that Cipollone is now trying to balance about whether or not he'll cooperate?
Well, I think on one hand, he's balancing his loyalty to the president and his duty as the lawyer to the president, not the president personally, but the institution of the presidency. And on the other hand, his willingness and interest in putting information out in the public and helping the committee do its work and conduct its investigation. Look, it's a fine line. I hope he testifies. I hope he comes and tells his story and lets the committee hear from him. I don't think he'll be scripted. I think he'll tell the truth as he honestly sees and experiences it. And I think the committee and the nation will be better off if we hear from his perspective what happened.
The echoes of John Dean ring loud. Hey, it was great to see you, Tom, as always. It's been too long.
Likewise. Thank you, Leland.
Good to see you. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.